Hi. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm good.
How are you feeling in this moment?
Oh, I'm excited for this. Yeah, and to meet you, like I told you. Oh, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Guys, if you don't know Susan, I don't know where you're living. This is our African data queen.
Oh my
She
God.
is the founder of Phoenix Analytics. She's a senior data analytics professional at Multichoice. And she's basically creating the next generation of data professionals. Like that's just a tip of the iceberg of what Susan is doing. And she's going to be speaking at the Africa Tech Summit soon. So let's give her a round of applause. Woo! So I'm really happy to have you here, Susan. Also very excited to meet you. I really honor the work that you do. Very inspired by what
Thank
you
you.
do, and even just you as a person from interacting with you. So I'm excited to get people to know you like I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. This is my first ever like YouTube kind of thing. So I'm like, oh God, help me.
Your girls will be like, Mom, you're
I
famous.
know. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, Susan, what is your favorite thing to do right now?
Oh, alone time. I never get that nowadays with the kids, with work, with Phoenix. I just alone time if I can get it. That's all I need. That's all I need. Yeah.
Okay. With everything that you're currently doing, what centers you? Like, what helps you kind of maintain some sanity? Because I know there's people who are going to be watching who are like, I'm doing so much, I'm going crazy. So, what helps you?
For me, it's knowing when to take a break. Like I need to know because burnout is real. You know, I have an 8 to 5, and then in between that or after work, I'm dealing with Phoenix stuff, and throughout the whole process, my kids are there. So just knowing when to take, and also to ask for help. Yeah, try not to do everything by myself. And I suck at delegating, and it's that now I'm learning. I have to. I need support. I need the help. So I'll ask help as much as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you growing up?
Oh my gosh. I have different phases. So let's say from, let's say around 6 to 11, I was a curious type. I love dismantling things and then fixing them. And then there's a phase where I was so reserved, I didn't want to hang out with other kids. So, you know, I can go to birthday parties and then I stay in the house as I go to play. I'm just reading this comic book that we used to call Archie. And then after that, yeah, I just now became an adult and the reservation, I think a part of me is still there, the reserved part of it, but also I'm learning to put myself out there now more. Yeah.
Do you think there's a certain personality that thrives in the data field?
Well, there's a stereotype that most techies are introverts. Okay, which is true. I've seen it. I've seen it. They don't like to talk much. They just like to have their corner desk there. They just crunch numbers and stuff. But I've also seen extroverted data professionals who are also thriving, especially in the communication aspect of it, which is the part where the introverts don't do so well. So, and also it's not an excuse, you know, you need to learn to be a good communicator either way. And yeah, I'd say it's good to have a balance, but also it's okay if you're introverted. It's fine. That's who you are at the end of the day.
If there's someone watching and they've been dancing around data, should I look into this? Should I not? What would you say is important for them to have to build a successful career in data?
First, you know, you need to learn your why. Like, why do you want to get into data? And if money is the first thing that comes to your mind, then no, don't do that. Because you won't find the money in the beginning. It comes much later when you're building your skills and doing more practice. So curiosity is another thing. You have to ask a lot of questions. For example, when you're given a project, you need to understand why they need what they're asking for and where they're going to use it, you know. And also numbers, you can avoid, especially statistics. Oh my God. but it's usually a mindset thing that you have to be good in math. I feel like you don't, if you just tell yourself that I want to learn this, you're going to figure it out. It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science, you know. I get people asking me, I'm not good in math, can I do data science? Can I do data analytics? Yeah, you can. You just have to change that mindset for, I got a D in high school, so anything that has math in it is not for me. That's just a mindset thing. Change that attitude, yeah.
Okay, so do you think someone who's really, I don't have a high affinity to math would still create a successful career in the data field?
Yeah, you just have to want to learn. Umesikia? It's mostly a mindset. Most of the time, it's a mindset thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's always a mindset thing because I know people who didn't do well in math in high school, and that's where their foundation is. A lot of people say
Yeah, that's
high
true.
school.
That's
For me,
true.
math sucked. I hated chemistry. So anything to do with math as a career is not going to work out for me. Yeah, it's always a mindset thing, unfortunately.
Okay.
So you need to change that.
So at Bishop Katimu, you cleared Form 4, ulipata nini Form 4?
Pata B plus, man. Pata B plus.
Nice. Watu walipita.
Yeah, but you know, no, the thing is, for me, I had so high expectations. I was expecting more. So I felt like, I failed. Yeah, I felt like I failed. But also, I think it's also the expectations and the pressure from home.
Yeah,
so,
you must
yeah.
get an A.
And now looking back, it's like I'm not even doing anything I learned. Sasa Kiswahili imenisaidia. Oh my God.
You saying that in Swahili?
No, I really hated that subject, to be honest, yeah.
Oh, okay. Take us through after Form 4. Take us through that journey.
Okay. So after Form 4, for me, I was starting to look at which course or career has numbers in it, because I felt like that's where I'd thrive. And then I remember actuarial science was just starting. It was new. And I thought maybe that's what I'd do, but that didn't work out. So I just decided to do finance. And then I went to not Strathmore, Catholic University. That's where I did my bachelor's. Then after that, I got a job in a customer care role. It was mostly like the customer care department for engineers, people who deal with this telecommunication stuff. And wow, I stayed for that for 8 months. 8 months. I couldn't do it anymore. It was wow. Respect to customer care, respect. I don't know.
How much were you earning on your first job?
The customer care one, I remember that was in 2012. I was earning 50,000.
50,000.
I remember.
Wow.
Yeah,
What job is there? Like your first job?
But now you get in this money. It seems a lot. I'm 22.
Yeah.
And I don't have any financial awareness.
Yeah.
So it's you earn the money, you go and just sherehe. Inaisha hapo. Like you don't do anything significant with it. Then you wait for the next paycheck. Then you read. It was just an endless cycle.
How did you get that job?
It was a referral. Yeah, it was a referral. And then after I left the customer care job, I started my master's in finance at Daystar. And then I got like a part-time sort of accounting job. Yeah, in the midst of it all. Yeah, accounting, it has numbers. You know, at the end of the day, I'm looking, but it was the monotony of doing the same thing. You wake up, balance sheets, income statements, debits, credits, same thing, as in you know what to expect. Okay. Yeah, so there was that monotony of it all. And then after that, I got called to a job at Mkopa. Can I name the company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a job at Mkopa. It was a payments analyst job. So basically, I thought it was going to be in the finance department, right? So I was like, okay, finally, I get to do what I went to school for. So when I get there, I remember my first day, my first task was to use a VLOOKUP. And I was like, what's a VLOOKUP? What is that? It's like, then I'm being shown like some big functions, like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And then also, I remember my team lead telling us, if you need to succeed in this role, you need to learn SQL. It's like, what is SQL? It's like a sort of a language that helps you pull data. So is it like coding? It's like, no, I didn't do AT. Why am I learning coding? So you see, now my mentality and my mindset was very, I just need to do what I studied for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember thinking, okay, if I need to progress, I need to learn these things. So I got online, YouTube, started learning. At night, I started learning, sitting with my colleagues, telling them, if you get this task, please throw it my way, and then I try and do it. So that's where now I started building my data skills with the practice and also just upskilling and doing YouTube and like W3 schools. I use that a lot. That's where I learned most of my SQL, Power BI, also sitting with people who are doing it and them showing me how to go about it. And so I stayed in that role for 2 years before a recruiter reached out to me and told me they have a role at Copia. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy to. I went, did the interviews, and that's when I started Copia in 2018.
Before you proceed,
Okay.
wow, interesting. I want to take you back because I'm with you step by step. Let's go back to your masters. Why did you do your masters?
Why?
Yeah.
At first, to be honest, I didn't think I wanted to, but I needed something to pass the time. I needed something to
I
pass
have
the
so
time.
much
And also,
time.
it seemed nice to say, have a master's. Ooh. And then also, I had this goal, oh, I want to do a PhD by 27, because I did my master's when I was 23.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I said my goal was, I finish my master's 25, I start my PhD 27.
So you can be
Wow,
called
but
Daktari.
yeah, exactly. Just not because I think I'll use it anywhere. Yeah, so I think that was it. I just needed to pass the time. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's thinking about pursuing their masters?
In what?
Finance, data?
I mean, if it's relevant to you, then please go ahead and do it. But don't do it for other people's sake. Do it for you. Yeah, because you want, and know it's going to benefit you.
All right.
Yeah.
How did you get the MCOPA role? Because I think this is very important.
Now the MCOPA role, again, another referral.
Interesting.
Yeah, so someone called me and told me, we have this role, are you interested? And I said yes. So I went and did the interview. It was me and another guy. And then after the interviews, the other guy got the job. I didn't. The other guy got the job. And 1 month down the line, they called me again. Said, this guy just didn't show up to work. Then it's like, so I'm the second choice. Okay, it's fine. I need the job.
Give it to me. Yeah.
I'm the second choice. I mean, it feels like I didn't make it, or I feel like they're feeling pity on me, or someone's like, you know what, it's fine. I'll just ride with it.
Yeah.
And they're calling me on a Friday, can you come on Monday? And I'm in this other job that I need to give notice. But it was, because since it was part-time,
Part-time, yeah.
so I think my boss was understanding, say, I understand, because we can't pay you what they're paying you.
Yeah.
So I just handed over what I was doing. And Monday, I went to the new job.
What would you say, because I'm sure there are people who are wondering, ataka referrals. What would you say is the thing that you did that enabled you to get referrals so far for your two jobs? Is it being open, friendly? What is it?
Actually, I can say it's just, there's nothing I did, as in, at that time, I wasn't very intentional about building networks. So I could say it's just people who probably I went to high school with, or my friends' friends, or my cousins' friends, It's not that I was intentional to put myself in this space so that someone can say, oh, I know this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say there's anything I did differently at that point. I was just living my life, and then someone called me and asked me. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Did they know that you were you were doing like finance stuff? Like, how did they know to refer you?
Yes, they knew, because after I graduated, I started sending out my CVs to people who I knew were in positions of hiring. Yeah, so I was just sending out my CVs, giving my friends, give it to, if you know anyone who's hiring, like that. So maybe I can say that is it. Yeah,
I can see that, because for them to know, you'd have to kind of put yourself
exactly.
in that
Yeah,
position.
so I'd say it's just sharing my CVs and stuff. Yeah.
All right. So Copper, you get a recruiter who reached out to you. How, again, to this techie, especially with the job market right now, how do I set myself up to be a bee, like a honey for bees, for recruiters?
Now, for when I was in MCOPA, the recruiter reached out to me through LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yes, it was through LinkedIn because I used to always update my progress, the companies that I'm working in. So this person just, and it was after 2 years. So in between, I was also doing interviews, but I was never getting the job. But the interviews were showing me where I was falling short.
Oh.
It could be a technical aspect of it. They asked me a question in SQL that I hadn't done. And if I didn't do it well, then they were not giving me the chance. So I was taking that opportunity and going back, like, how do I do this? So that the next time I don't make the same mistake, or if I'm going to fail the test, it's not because of the same question, right? And then also just learning how to interview is also a skill on its own, and how to respond to questions. So I did a lot of interviews in between the 2 years, and then now Copia is the one now that landed. That's the one I got the job.
Okay, were you sharing a lot on LinkedIn, like posting?
No, not like the way people do now.
Eh.
No, it's just updating my. If I moved companies, I just update that. Yeah. So I think the recruiter was just looking for a specific skill set, and then maybe my name popped up,
Yeah.
and then she reached out to me.
Okay. Take us through Copia.
Okay, then I joined Copia in 2018. So, you know, MCOPA was using, let's say, Microsoft technologies.
Yeah.
Then Copia, now that's when I started to learn about Tableau. And then they were also using Postgres SQL. It's like a different version of MySQL. But same concept, but probably the syntaxes are different. And that's where now I got into the e-commerce space, you know, because, you know, MCOPA is renewable energy. This one is e-commerce. More or less the same experience, and I got to learn a lot in terms of dealing with marketing data, sales. I made a lot of friends there as well. And then now, after about 10 months, they told us that they're moving their offices to Roiro
Ruiru.
from Westlands. Oh my God. I'm like, what? What does this mean? Like, do I have to relocate now? Then I started now looking for jobs. Oh, at that point, I was
not going to
relentless.
Ruiru.
I can't. God, please help me. And then the good thing is, where we were, our offices, we were probably, was it third floor, fourth? I don't even remember. No, it was fourth. And then third floor was Jumia. So now, as I'm looking for jobs, I remember one time just going to LinkedIn, and I sent the MD a message, and I told him, I gave him an idea of how they could use data. Have you guys tried this? And then he said, we are actually thinking about it. Are you looking for a role? And I was like, yes, I am. And then he said, okay, let me send me your CV. I sent it to HR. I did. And then the next day, HR calls me. They don't know I'm upstairs, by the way. They don't know I'm upstairs. It's like, we have a technical interview set for this date. Can you make it? I said yes.
Period.
Of course. So I went, I did it. And then I was now called for another interview afterwards. Now, when I'm still interviewing with Jumia, I was also interviewing with another company called Kasha. Have you heard of Kasha?
Yeah, I've heard of Kasha.
Same thing. I went, found out who their founders are, looked for them, emailed her, gave her an idea of how they can use data. She called me for an interview as well. They didn't have a role advertised. Me, I normally just look. Sometimes I look for the people in the companies on LinkedIn. I do a research on their companies, and I tell them, do you use data to do this? Do you use data to do this? If you're not, this is a gap, you know, like give them a solution to a problem they might encounter in the future.
Interesting.
Then, so now this time I'm interviewing 2 companies back to back. So I get to the offer part, and Kasha's offer was higher than Jumia's. Jumia walikuwa wamekwama mahali. Sema pana, I can't, we are arguing back, no. Then finally I took Kasha's, but I wanted to go to Jumia, you know. So I took Kasha's offer.
How much?
It was, I didn't even tell you MCOPA, I said what?
Yeah.
Okay, what if they see this video? Anyway, F it. So they were giving me 35,000 at MCOPA.
MCOPA, okay.
Copia gave me 150. Are you seeing that leap?
Interesting. So you went from 50 to 35
Exactly.
to 150.
Exactly.
You were happy to do that dip? The 35?
Yeah, but you see, I had left this customer care job. It's
I
not like I
see,
transitioned to another job.
I
Yeah,
see.
I didn't have a job.
Wow,
Exactly.
okay.
So yeah, Mkopa giving me 35 and Kopia gave me 150. So that was like what, times 4?
Yeah, you're like
Crazy.
nimeomoka sasa kabisa.
Manze.
Nimemalizana.
Yeah. And then now we have Jumia, and this is 2018 now. And Kasha gave me a better offer, which was 180. And Jumia was, and at this time I wasn't keen on the jump. Me just didn't want to go to Roiro. That's it. I don't care if it's you're giving me this.
Kwa mavumbi.
Manze, oh my God. So Jumia wanted to maintain the 150 that I was earning.
Yeah, okay. And this is gross? This is gross?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I went to Kasha.
Okay.
I stayed there 2 days. Jumia called me again. Okay, fine, come, let's talk. Come, let's talk. Like, we need to fill this role ASAP. So finally, we agreed. They gave me 2 sock.
Ooh.
Then I was like,
Interesting.
so now imagine you just started on a new job. It's 2 days. And you're saying, guys, I've gotten another offer.
I'm sorry, it's the money.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, so I stayed. So now I went to Jumia, and I started Jumia 10 months after I had joined Copia.
What can we learn from that situation?
What can you learn?
Yeah.
You see, I was very money-centered at that point also. So I don't want anyone to learn that. Don't take that away from Nini. So it's more of, I don't know, like if you're keen on, you know, getting a job like this, don't just use the traditional way of just sending CVs all the time, looking for job posts. No, like reach out to people on LinkedIn, but don't reach out with like, I'm looking for a job. That I'm looking for a job. Do you have a role that is open in your company?
Yeah.
That's so cliche. Like, I doubt people even respond to that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like approach it with a problem-solving kind of scenario.
Mindset.
Do your
Okay.
research on the company. What are they doing? What are they offering? How can data help make their stuff more efficient?
Okay.
Yeah.
On negotiation, because what I'm seeing is like a company does have budget.
They do.
Because I see they even surpassed what they wanted.
They do.
What have you learned so far, even beyond your experiences, about negotiation? Because I would imagine if it was somebody else, would they have stuck on 150 if they just had that one offer with Jumia? What have you learned so far about negotiation?
Okay, for starters, I used to always quote my expectation. I wish I didn't. Now I know better. And also, don't focus so much on the cash aspect of it. What about the non-monetary ones? Like for me, that is what, right now, if someone comes to me with an offer, I'm more keen on the non-monetary benefits than the cash benefits. Even right now, like even the way we are being taxed, at the end of the day, the take home is very little. But if you're giving me benefits where ideally I'd have to remove money from my pocket to pay, like, you know, insurance, that's big. Pension is awesome. A nice bonus, performance bonus is good. Telephone allowance, fuel cards, those kind of things. Housing, rent, yeah, those kind of things are important. You see, because now they're helping you pay for that, so even your disposable is
a bit bigger.
Exactly, yeah.
I see. Okay, back to, now you're back to Jumia. You went to Jumia. Okay, take us through that.
So now I went to Jumia. I loved it there. I love the team. I love the culture, but it was so fast-paced. And then I was the only analyst at the time. It was a lot. It was a lot. Hey, long nights.
Really?
Long nights, yeah, it was a lot, but I enjoyed it. Made some good friends there. I learned a lot. That's why I built most of my skills. Yeah, and then I remember again, 10 months into the job, a recruiter asked me, told me about Multichoice.
Oh.
10 months.
Wow.
I'm like, what is going on? So now, for me, I was worried they'd ask me, why do I want to leave? You're the ones who looked for me. Like,
Yes.
okay, you don't want to say that,
Yeah.
but you're the ones who look for me. And if the opportunity is better, then why not? Right? So now, moving from the startup world to now like a multinational was so different. The culture is different. the pay is different, the benefits are different. And that was in 2019. 5 years now, I'm still there. I'm still there.
You gotta tell us. You gotta tell us.
5 years now, it's because they really take care of us. Multichoice takes care of us.
Okay, before we get to Multichoice, you said you learned a lot at Jumia. It's where you really built your skills. What would you say was your biggest like lesson and takeaway?
In Jumia, it was just dealing with different people. For me, that was what I learned the most. I was dealing a lot with a lot of different personalities. And then also being the only analyst, you will find different also areas in the business coming to you for help. It could be the commercial aspect of the business. They need help with data. It could be the marketing. So I got an all-rounded view of the organization based on the data that I was dealing with. Yeah. So that really opened up
Your mind.
yeah, even how I think, how I approach problems, depending on the area, you know. Yeah, that was really good.
And up until that point, all the companies you had worked for were startups.
There were startups, yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's currently navigating the startup world as a data profession? What have you learned so far, especially around like boundaries, because startups can be quite...
Yeah, it's fast-paced and you get to do things even outside of your JD that you had not planned on, right? Me, I'd say learn as much as you can. Like, take this opportunity to learn. As much as you feel like you're doing things that you didn't sign up for, they will help you eventually. Not now, but maybe then your next role. It like opens you up and shows you so many new possibilities. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I started on the startup side, but now I don't think I could go back. Oh, God. I don't think I could go. I had my fair share of the startup experience.
Yeah.
Well, it's really fast-paced.
All
But
right.
it's also really, I like the challenge that it came with. Yeah,
Okay.
I loved it.
How did you get Multichoice? I know the recruiter reached out, but at this point, were you now sharing on LinkedIn? Because I know that's a huge, like, a lot of people are moving in that direction of branding and its importance in landing roles or your career.
Yeah.
But what would you say was the thing that made you stand out for that recruiter to be like, oh, you sasa?
Can I say if it's even standing out? Because this, when I asked the recruiter, I had applied for a certain job from that recruitment company. I didn't get it, but they retained my CV. So when they got this role, they first normally check the CVs that they have in their database before they roll it out to the public. So that's when now he called me and asked me if I'm interested. And I said I was. So I went for the interview. I think there were 2 interviews. And I got the role. I was so excited because this was a different, like,
Whole different ball
yeah,
game.
so different. Everything, the package, the benefits, and also because of also where they'd placed me. Right now, I'm finding it difficult to get another job elsewhere. Yeah, because of course also the economy is so bad. Companies don't want to really spend that much money
I
on the
see,
hires,
yeah.
right? So it only makes sense to me that I stay.
I
I'm
make it
growing
see, yeah.
in all aspects, so that's why I'm here
I
5 years
get
later.
that. I
Yeah,
see that.
exactly.
So would you say the market right now, like you just mentioned, was different from the market then, especially in data?
Definitely. Back then, it didn't have a large talent pool like now. Very few people were specializing in that area. So it also worked to us for our benefit, even when you're negotiating salaries. Right now, so many people are in this field. The competition is so much higher. That's why it's so difficult right now, even for people and even entry-level people to get jobs, because companies are thinking, if I get this person, will I have to start training them and stuff? Why not just get someone mid-level with some experience? Yeah, that's why it's so much harder now, but it's not impossible. Yeah, you just have to do much more to stand out than we had to do back in the day.
If you had to break it down to 3 things, for the person who's listening, caught up in that really competitive job market and wondering, I just want my break, what are the 3 things they should focus on?
I would say the first one is, of course, project-based learning. Like, do a lot of projects, guys. Hey, first, yeah, okay. You'll in the boot camps that you go to or the degrees that you do, you're just getting a foundational level of skills. It's mostly foundational, and even the projects that you do in school are very, I can't say they mimic the real world setting. So I normally tell them, do as much projects as you can, even after, right? And also, number 2 is get a mentor. That will cut your time into 2. You know, first of all, dealing with someone who's already been on the journey, they probably faced the same challenges that you're facing now. So they will guide you better on the best path to take, how to approach problems, how to, critical thinking skills. And the other one is, what can I say? Learn loudly. Learn loud, like show on LinkedIn. Like right now you have to stand out, especially because of the competition. Yeah, so if you do a project, share it. The steps that you took, the challenges that you faced, put them on LinkedIn. Or even other socials, it's fine. Twitter, X, IG. Just learn loudly. Yeah.
Interesting. If I wanted you to be my mentor, how would I go about it? Because there's someone there who's like, sasa napata mentor wapi?
I know, and that's why I have the mentorship program, right? That's why I have the mentorship program, because now that also helps me get other people who are also experienced in the industry, because I can't do it by myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm just one of the mentors, but I have others, and then now, when you have a mentor, when you sign up, they guide you through the process for 6 months. We do this for 6 months. You do a lot of projects. They will also help you with your soft skills, interviewing, writing your resume. But we don't have any control on the direction that the mentor takes. We leave that to them.
Nice.
You know, because they have different ways of doing things. And I don't want to be stringent, like do this, do this, do this. Yeah, just roll with it, with what works for you and your mentee. Yeah. So if someone would want me as a mentor, I'd just tell them to wait. The next cohort will be next year, let's say from around April, May. Go through the process, the application process, and even though it's not me, you will have, there are other people who are just equally as good. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll put Phoenix Analytics links in the bio
Okay.
so that you guys can check them out. Now, say for example, someone wanted a mentor in product or a different field. How did you get your mentor? Like without your program, how do I get a mentor outside a structured program?
Okay, so outside, it would be more of who first identify the person that you want to mentor you. But now don't do the whole cliche thing of I want you to be my mentor. This person does not know you like that. For you to just, how about you start with just sharing what you've been doing? Like, this is what I've done so far. This is the areas I'm struggling with. What advice can you give me, right? I'm more inclined to help that person than someone who just enters my DM and asks me to be their mentor.
Okay.
Because I don't know what you've been doing. I don't know where you're at.
I don't know.
But if you send me your portfolio and I look at the projects that you've done, I'm able to give feedback based off that. And then if we continue like that, now, we can just relationship building and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Now we are at receiving this very nice package. Could you give us a rough look of how this looks like? What would someone who has probably, I think at this point you have 7 years of experience?
When I joined, no. At this time, I have 4.
4?
Yeah.
Wow.
At this time, I have 4.
Wow, okay. 4 years of experience at a multinational. What would they look at in terms of salary?
It would be, I'll give a range. It ranges between, let's say, 400 to 1M.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'll stay there for 5 years too,
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
and then
okay.
also the good thing is the benefits are really good. You have a salary increase every year. They have nice performance bonuses. Yeah, and also I'm learning with different people in different countries.
Yeah.
Because right now, I do insights and data stuff for 52 countries in Africa. So even the amount of data I am dealing with, I cannot even compare it to what I was doing in the startup. So you have to also learn new skills to help you deal with big data now. Because now I'm at the big data side of
level.
things. Yeah, so that's why now Python helps a lot. So that's when I started learning more Python skills that I didn't need for the other roles, but right now I find it more relevant. And also dealing with a lot of stakeholders. I didn't used to do that a lot in startups, but right now I have to. I have to do it.
For someone who's looking to join, say, a multinational, but they want to apply, are there any tips based on your experience? I'm sure you've hired a bit.
Not here, actually. In Kenya, we're only 2 of us.
Ah.
Yeah, a lot of the data team is in SA.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but yeah. What were you asking again?
What would you advise them if they're applying directly? Say they want to join your company, how would you, like, what should they do? How do they structure their CV? Is there anything extra that they should do?
No, not really. There isn't anything extra they do. They will share their job advertisements and everything. But I just tell people it's just like any other job. There isn't a way to apply to a multinational that you will, a different way to apply to an, it's the same thing, but just tweak your resume to the job that you're applying for. Yeah.
Would referrals help them?
Normally, referrals are for, yes, actually. I have referred a few people. Yes, they do. They do consider that as well. Yeah. Especially if they first advertise for it internally. Yeah. And then if they don't find anyone, they normally do tell us if you know anybody.
I see. And talk about domain specialization. You moved from e-commerce and now you're moving into marketing. Is it media now?
Now, yeah, media and entertainment, yeah.
Okay. How important is domain specialization for a data professional now?
Now, I don't know. This question, I think I'd just speak from experience. For me, I'm a generalist because I started with renewable energy. I went to e-commerce, and now I'm in media and entertainment. So I'm able to adapt into different domains as long the skills are the same, right? It's the business context that I'd have to understand from scratch. Now, somebody specializing in one domain, first it limits you, but people say that you get to be, your salary is normally higher than a generalist. That's experience from other people. It might limit you because you're always looking for one domain. So if you don't get any jobs in one domain, then you're just there. But now there are other people who are of a different school of thought that say being a generalist shows that you're able to adapt to different industries. So for me, like, I wouldn't worry much if I went into even like, what is it called, marketing or procurement, because I get to understand business context first, because the skill side of things is always the same. You're using the same tools. So it's just to better understand how you're going to solve these different domain problems with the skills that you have. Yeah.
Speaking of skills, I know you've preached this on your Instagram.
Yeah.
But for those who don't follow you yet, what should you say are the fundamental skills a data analyst needs to have now?
Okay, for me, for starters, I tell people to start with Excel, SQL, and a visualization tool. It could be Power BI, it could be Tableau, Looker, whatever. Just choose one. And then once you're comfortable with this, then maybe you can go to Python. You can start learning some statistics if that's going to help you with that, right? But don't try to do everything at once because you'll just end up confused. Yeah, you'll just end up confused. Like for me, Python, I only got to use it multi-choice. I never used it in all the other roles. Yeah. So I tell them just focus on that, those 3 first, and then after you get comfortable, move to Python. Yeah.
What does a good data analyst look like?
I'd say one, curious, inquisitive. You need to ask as many questions as possible. Yeah, because you know at the end of the day, you're the one who's the customer facing. You're the one who deals with the stakeholders. And when they come to you with a problem, you don't just take it as it is and run with it. You need to ask why they need this. You need to ask how is it going to help in their decision making. And sometimes they come with their own opinions. You need to be in a place where you can tell them, based on your request, I'd prefer we go this direction instead. But you'll only know that if you ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah. And also communication skills. This is something I've learned the hard way. You have to present, and a lot of the stakeholders are non-technical. So you can't be going them, telling them, so I joined these tables, and then I removed. No, they don't know about the technical nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just want to know, okay, from your analysis, what is the problem? And how can we fix
Solve
it?
yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Up until you joined Multichoice, what would you say your biggest challenge was?
Communication skills. That was my biggest problem. That was, because there's a way you need to tell them. There's a way you need to communicate. And I've always been those people who just say things as they are, like straight to the point, like no beating around the bush.
Yeah.
And some people might take that as you being rude, and you don't mean to be rude. You're just saying things as they are. And then there are people who sometimes they don't agree with your analysis because in their mind they have
A theory.
exactly, but the data is saying otherwise. You need to have a way to communicate that to make them feel like you listen to them and you understand where they're coming from.
Interesting.
Not telling them, you could go and tell him, I don't know, the data is saying this, like
Shock
what can
show.
I do? Yeah, shock show. Right? Yeah, so I struggle with that a lot. So it's still something I'm learning. Yeah, and also have a really good manager. I feel like he deals with stakeholders so well, even the difficult ones. And he has a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of patience. And I don't. I don't have. So that's a skill I've been working on, yeah. And I think it'd be the biggest challenge I've dealt with this far.
I see. What does a typical day in your life look like? Paint for us a picture of a really busy day and a chill day for the data analyst to be like, or those who are aspiring to be like, okay, I don't want that job. Or actually, I'd be interested.
Oh my gosh. I'd say a chill day is one where I'm just in meetings. I'm not doing any technical stuff. I'm not building dashboards. It's just meetings or collecting requirements for projects. I'd say that's a chill day.
Interesting.
A busy day, oh my gosh, it would be, a lot of tech people would understand the debugging side of things. Like for me, when I can't figure out a problem, even sleeping, when I sleep, I'm dreaming about this problem because it's the only thing in my head. Like, why can't I, what's going on here? What am I missing? And you can spend a whole day, even 2 or 3, trying to figure out why your code is not working. For me, that is, I feel like the days just pass and it's just, I need to fix this. Or even it could be, you wake up, first, of course, there's the stand-up sessions. You have your work planned out for the next 2 weeks. So now it's trying to prioritize the planned work and also the ad hoc requests that come in that are not part of the planned work. You can get someone saying, I need this extract, I need this analysis, I need this. That was not part of your. So of course you have it's something you have planned for, like, what do you call it? I've forgotten. Anyway, you plan for it in the sprint, yeah. And it could be also, there are projects that take months to complete because even building the script or the code itself might take a month. It's something that you have to keep going back and forth with the stakeholders, trying to identify if we even have this data. If we don't have it, where can we get it? So you need to work a lot with data engineers because they need to help you get this data and bring it into the database. Now, for example, in our company, I can't do data engineering work because they have certain rights that I don't have. And even as much as I have the skills to do it, they won't They just want to make sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to do. So they don't want you to be overwhelmed. So I constantly have, so every analyst is allocated their own data engineer.
Wow.
In their own, in their company.
Must be nice.
Yeah. So for every project, because I know at some point you will need a data engineer, that's why they do it.
Oh.
Yeah. So we are always me and a data engineer. If I need this data, if he needs to do some transformations, if he needs to bring in data that isn't there, that's what he does. And also they're really good with the scripting kind of requests. So when I get stuck somewhere, he's a person I'll go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
My best friend is a new mother. And she reminds me a bit of you. Yeah, a lot actually. So what would you tell her about motherhood and career? How would she navigate this too? Because it's very new for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd tell her to embrace the chaos, just embrace it. Because, and also not to feel guilty when times come when she has to work and has to leave her baby behind. Like, it's just it's life, it's part of life, right? So you just need to get a good support system, understand that balance does not exist this way. There's nothing like a 50-50. There are times when work will take most of your time and your baby takes a back burner, and there are times when your family life is going to take priority and work will stay to the side. Yeah, so just to go with it, not to feel guilty. You know, at the end of the day, you're trying to build a life for your baby, a good life for your baby. So, and if you feel like you can't do that at home, then don't feel guilty about it. Yeah, it's just part of life.
Okay. I really got inside that. Yeah. Okay. So how have you ever had a difficult time navigating boundaries with your manager around your family? Because I've seen this a lot with mothers where there's a shift in how they're treated at the office once they become mothers. Was that the same experience for you?
No, I'd like to hear about that though. No, like my company is very, like, they understand that's not a disability, it's just part of life, you know. And they're very strict on, you need to take your off days when you need to. And I remember I had a manager once who, if she used to see me online past 5 p.m., she told me to shut down my computer. What are you doing working past 5?
Wow.
Right? It's like, what are you doing working past 5? And if there's ever like an emergency family issue, they're like, it's okay. You're not a doctor. You know, nobody's going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're really understanding on that aspect. Yeah, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Mkona vacants. Mkona vacants. Cut it out. Okay. So now you're at Multichoice. When did Phoenix Analytics come to? When was it birthed?
Ooh, I think that was 2022. I'd been having this idea of sharing about my journey online.
Sorry.
But because of my personality and being introverted, I used to always postpone the date. Okay, today is the day. Today is the day. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And then finally, August 2022, I was like, you know what? Let me just. Do you know even the videos I did from? I've never looked back at them. At 20, I've never looked back at them.
We're gonna put one.
No, so cringe. So I was like, no, I've never looked back. 2 years now. Even now, I still can't go because it's like, God, what is this?
Who are
is it?
you?
My friends were like, Suzy, you knew where we. I know. But I feel like now, ever since I started sharing my journey, now a lot of people have started reaching out to me. I've started to see the kind of problems people are facing now. And then they told me, Suzy, by the way, how about you open a WhatsApp group to have like-minded people who are on the same journey, because Miss G, anyone else who's doing this.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I opened the first group. That same August. And I think in like 2 months it was full. And then like, can you open another one? So now when we're still there, and as I'm getting to understand the members, trying to also see the areas that they're having challenges in, And even they were giving me ideas on things that I could do. So that's when I was like, I felt like I need to do more. So we started with, I used to do webinars, we used to do project feedbacks, where on a Saturday, people come and show us the projects they've been doing, and we give them feedback. And then now it moved to now like events, having physical events. Yeah, that was new and different, but it was nice. Workshops, now we're doing workshops. And then now I remember thinking about the mentorship program.
Yeah.
And right now it's more focused on the data field. So it's usually data science, data analysts, and data engineers. But it would be nice to, partner up with other people like yourself. You could do for product managers, like let it not just focus on data. Like tech is such a huge ecosystem with different areas in it.
Yeah.
So why not come together and all help each other out? Because at the end of the day, these same people are the ones who are going to change a lot of our tech industry. Yeah.
Wow. I hope by the time this is coming out, we'd have partnered and done something together.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay, so you start Phoenix Analytics. Now at this point, it's really grown beyond, your imagination up to now.
Oh, it's crazy.
Tell us a bit about that, what it has been for you.
No, it's amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. But even just companies reaching out to you telling me they are looking for talent, or we're looking for data scientists. Now the good thing is my community, I have people. Like I feel like it's ready talent there. So if somebody needs to fill a role in any data field, it's just a matter of putting it in my community, and they'll have like hundreds of CVs by the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And it's also helping me give them opportunities. And also that's why I'd want to invest in them. Because at the end of the day, if a company comes to me, I want to give them quality.
Talent,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's why I want to also invest in them. And also, if I decided to go on the consulting side of things, and I got a client, they want me to maybe set up a certain technology in their company, I can't do that by myself. I will need to go to maybe my community and look for people with a certain skill set. Now that's what Phoenix is for me. So that's why I am trying to invest in them, make sure they have the resources that they need, the skills that they need, give them opportunities to also network with other people in the industry, learn what people are doing. And that makes me so happy, to be honest. It does. I've met some amazing people, by the way. It's really, the thing about also networking is there's this mindset that people think. When you think networking, you think, I need to meet a CEO, I need to meet a CTO, I need to meet a founder, whatever. And you're forgetting that these people, even these people who are starting or they're trying to get their footing in this journey, you don't know where they'll end up. You don't know the rooms they'll be in. And they might just end up even a lot of these things for me in Phoenix, the people who've reached out, it's because of my community members just mentioning my name in those areas. Wow. Yeah, so I've also learned a lot from community building.
What has been the most challenging thing in that process?
In the community building?
Yes.
I think for me in the beginning was just thinking I could do everything on my own. And then getting the right people, because people expect to be paid for their time. Like if you want to come and work for me or do something, people want to be compensated. So for me to see or to find people who wanted to volunteer and believe in what I'm doing, it took some time. Yeah, but right now I have an amazing team. I'm very grateful for them. Yeah, I couldn't be where I am now without their help.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Can I give them a shout out?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Vinny, Angie, Calvin, Cynthia, and Koi. Appreciate you guys.
Okay, so we're almost wrapping up. So far, what would you say has been your biggest career lesson?
I'd say sometimes working hard is not enough. Just working hard is not enough, because being too diligent or too nice can work against you at some point. You need to be assertive. You need to learn how to say no. You need to advocate for your work. and speak out, because there's a political side of corporate that you're not taught in school, and it applies a lot when it comes to promotions. So if you think that, oh, spending hours and hours of late nights is enough for it to get you that promotion, it might not be. As if your work is not being seen by decision makers, you'll often get overlooked. So remember to speak out, remember to advocate for your work, and remember to put it in a place that decision makers are seeing the work that you're putting in. Yeah.
What does that practically look like for example, for myself? What does that practically look like? Does it mean telling my boss, hey, look what I've done? You know, like...
It could be your boss, yes, or it could be asking for projects that you know are required by people up there, that are keen on people up there. Yes, like the CEOs or the CFOs or whatever. And also telling your manager that when it comes to presenting, don't do it for me, I want to do it.
Period.
I'm the one who did the work. I know if they shoot any questions, I'll be able to answer them. Because a lot of managers do that. You'll do the work, they take it, they learn everything about it from you, then they go and present it to the executives. So if you have a manager who is keen on supporting you and helping you grow, they'll give you that opportunity for sure. The other point is, don't be so grateful for your job.
Okay.
What I mean is...
Interesting.
What I mean is, especially with this economy, I know you, as just having a job in itself is something you should be happy about, which you should be. But sometimes being grateful can make you overlook things like a toxic culture, make you overlook things like a bad manager, or even bad compensation. Because in your mind, you're thinking, at least I have a job, at least I have something to pay my bills. But you need to change that mindset and think, I'm also bringing something to the table. I have spent months or years honing these skills, so I deserve a good pay. I deserve to work in a company that respects me and also what I'm doing and everything that I'm bringing to the table. So shift that mindset from, I'm lucky to have a job, to, this job is lucky to have me as well.
Gen Z are happy. They're like, yes, she's speaking our language.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, because I've seen that someone will take shit from a manager or from people in the company and just take it just because you're afraid of losing this job. And it's a bad environment. It's affecting your mental health. You're never at peace. You're waking up, you're dreading to go to the office because it's just going to be a day of just being shouted at, and it's just because you feel lucky to have this job. So you're not able to advocate for yourself, and you're forgetting that you're also bringing something to this table. Yeah.
I see that. Do you think there's an element of privilege that you need to have to be able to leave a job when it's no longer serving you?
Well, but I guess you Gen Zs are doing that all the time. Like, I think it's mostly us millennials. We're thinking, oh my God, I'm leaving and then I go where? And you're thinking you have bills to pay. But I also love the boldness of Gen Zs. Like, if something's not working for you, I'm out, man. Like, I will look for something else. And you don't take stuff, you don't take shit. A lot of people are really struggling with having Gen Z employees. They're really struggling because they're so smart, they know what they're doing, but they don't follow the traditional aspect of things. That they talk back, okay, respectfully. Like, if you feel like an idea is not, and you think there's a better way you could do it, you'll say it.
Yeah.
You're outspoken.
Yeah.
I love that about you guys, man. Us guys will be like, you've told me to do this, okay, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it, yeah. And then maybe you'll say you had a different idea after you've done what you've been told. So. I know, yeah. So let's say that.
Okay. So, Susie, if I know you have a panel today, if you are on your way to your panel and you met 21-year-old Susie, what would you tell her?
That's crazy because someone else asked me that question Was it today? No, yesterday.
So unoriginal.
No, by the I tell her to just trust the process. There's a point, when I was starting out, and I used to feel like I'm not heading anywhere, like nothing is moving, like I'm stagnant. You get, like I'm not growing. But I tell her to just keep, do your part. If you're going to upskill, you just continue upskill even though you're not seeing results. If you're applying for jobs and you're not getting callbacks, you just keep applying for those jobs. Either way, just do your part. Don't just sit there getting depressed and complaining that nothing is working out, yet you on your end, you're not doing anything about it. Now, they normally say that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Something can happen, an opportunity can come, but because you're just chilling, complaining, you won't be prepared for that, right? So, and that just takes me back to my period at MCOPA. I wasn't happy with the pay. I just wasn't happy with where I was in my life. My firstborn was due to come at the time. I was looking at the pay and I'm thinking, how am I supposed to raise a kid with this kind of salary? But as much as I felt that way, I still showed up to build my skills. I still took up those online courses. I still opened YouTube to learn more and to learn better. So those 2 years, I feel, were, if I had just sat back and just be like, my life sucks and nothing is going to come of it, I don't think I'd be here right now. So that's why I built my skills, regardless of me going into interviews and just not even getting accepted and just getting into more interviews. I was still building my skills. So I tell myself, trust the process. Yeah, just trust the process.
When do you know to give up? By giving up, it's like, I don't think this is working for me.
Oof, I don't know. I think ask someone else that one.
Only saa mwingine mimi naendanga kabisa.
Nainanga too. I just go, I just move. But I don't know, this is not even tech related, but there's a time I had started a clothing shop. Yeah, I was selling mommy-daughter stuff, and I remember those, okay, it taught me a lot about business and everything, but I had to shut it down. When did I shut it down? Especially it was the COVID. People were not buying. A lot of people are not working. So I think in 2021, I just decided to just close it down because it wasn't making any money. But I felt like I have failed, like I could have done more, right? I felt like I could have done more, but I've just learned to let that go. At the end of the day, it happened for a reason. So in terms of giving up, I don't know. Like this guy called Vuzi. Vuzi says that you have to have like some insane belief in yourself and what you're trying to build for it to. Some people can even say some entrepreneurs are crazy or delusional or whatever because it's so easy to give up. That's like the easy way out. It's easier to give up than to stick it out and just, where you're heading, you're doing your part. And for me, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I can't answer that.
Let's rephrase it. Instead of giving up, pivot. Because maybe this is actually not working. I should now pivot.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how will you know it's not working? At what point are you going to say, how many years will you have put in to say this is not working?
For a data analyst who's starting out, am I judging? Well, this is the second year, and it's like, what is not happening?
I'd like to know what have they done in those 2 years. What is making you feel like this is not for you, right? And if it's something to do with I'm not getting jobs, what else have you tried? Have you done freelancing? Have you reached out to people, sent cold emails? Have you attended events, built relationships? I'd want to know, why do you feel like this is not working for you? Have you tried everything you can possibly think of? No, so, sometimes people, they have pride and their ego and they be like, there's some things I can't do. Like, have you put yourself out there like social media and said, this is my work? Have you shown people your work? There's so much before saying, this is not working out for me. Yeah.
In one word,
Mhm.
finish the sentence. This past year has been.
Oh, transformational, man. It's been transformational. For me, I think, in my career, or rather when I started Phoenix stuff, I've got a lot of recognition, right? And, but for me, this year, getting a recognition from home, from Kenya, the 40 under 40, that hit different because a lot of these recognitions I get are from other countries. And now being recognized here, that was really special to me. I felt really, really good. Really good. Yeah. And also just how Phoenix is growing. It's taking a shape of its own. The impact that we've had on a lot of tech professionals this year, the mentorship program. We had cohort 1 and cohort 2 is currently ongoing. We've done some events. I've also gotten some partners. I remember when I was starting out and I was looking for partners and people were never responding to me. Just send emails. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to. Yeah. But you see, the thing is, at the end of the day, you just keep doing what you're doing. And when you do get this partner, you have something to show for what you have done by yourself, organically, yeah, without any funding. A lot of the things I have done out of pocket, yeah. So I'd say transformational for sure, and I can't wait to see what we do next year. Yeah.
Susan, final word for the techies. What is your final word?
Final word for the techies. What would I tell you? I'd say, just like I'd tell my 22-year-old self, trust the process. I'd say trust the process and also stop comparing yourself to other people. Right now, you could be seeing techies who are killing it, money, cars, the whole shebang. And then you're just there, you wonder, wow, nitafika hapo when? And you feel like, or especially that comparison bit of it can really demoralize somebody. And it could be even friends that you've started with on the same journey and their careers are picking up faster than you. You've done the same course, you've been together, you go to the same events. So, at the end of the day, their journey and your journey are totally different. So always affirm yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. It's hard. It's human nature, to be honest. It's just human nature, but don't let it get you down. Just do what you're supposed to do on your part, and God will do the rest. And trust the process for sure.